we going? Are we live? I think we might be live. Hello there. Hello there. I can never decide which one I want to go with. Either you go with the Ewan McGregor, which, then there's General Kenobi. You have to respond like that. But if you're doing A New Hope and, he pulls the hood off and it's Sir Alec Guinness, then it's just, hello there. And it's just, that's it. That's all you need. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jedi Playbook. This is a live. I do a live every Tuesday and Saturday at 5 p.m. My name is Ron. As you can see from the copious amounts of alcohol behind me, I am a wine professional. That is my job. But in the evening, I am a comedian, a classical pianist, and a Jedi consular. And I will talk more about that as we get into, the roles and duties of a Jedi Knight. But a lot to cover here. This is also the podcast, which will be on YouTube. So if you miss it now, you can always watch the replay. The link tree in my bio will take you to the latest video. And there's a bunch of other links there as well. There's also an interview I did with Rob from Genesis Custom Sabers. He makes custom lightsabers for a living. And he inspired me to pretty much do this and pursue this. So it's been fun. I'm going to put the phone in, because this is how I monitor the comments. I can't see them otherwise for some reason. Instagram is not cooperating with me, by the way, because it's not saving my lives. But whatever. You just got to go with the flow. I'm just going to use the Force. Remember, a Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him. All right. I'll stop the impressions if it's too much. Okay. First point of business. Thank you, everyone. Gratitude for just everything. I've gotten even more messages, and there's been even more engagement now, and I'm very pleased about that, and I'm glad that this material is resonating with people, and it seems to be a lot of people who are taking the Jedi Challenge. I know I said I was going to save comments for the end, but I see that several of them, and thank you for... I'm glad you enjoyed the impressions. Maybe I'll do some more. Who knows? I love doing impressions. I've been working on Christopher Lee to do a good Count Dooku, but I don't know if it's ready to perform yet. So, the reason I'm doing this today, and it's kind of a celebratory thing, is because this is day 15 of my second round through the Jedi Challenge, the 30 days. The first time I did this challenge, I did not really realize, like, all of this was kind of very nebulous. I didn't have, like, the roles and I didn't really know or consider myself a Jedi consular at the time. I was kind of still figuring that out. The first time I went through this and, realized what my Jedi trials were and just realized, I guess, that I had attained knighthood, essentially, right? First time through the major focus was meditation for me and developing habits around self-discipline and meditation. The workouts were kind of just, I had already been doing them, so I didn't really challenge myself. It wasn't a challenge. And since it's called the Jedi Challenge, it should be challenging. So now I can tell you, I'm happy to report that the physical aspect of my challenge currently, with all my workouts and training, is probably some of the most challenging things I've had to face in a long time. I did a post about it yesterday to log my day 14. If you would like to see my workout, it was very extensive from there. I just talked about how it was very intense. It was a lot. It was like medicine ball, wall slams, and weighted pull-ups, and broad jump, and the conditioning at the end was just like insane. So what I'm actually going to do is start documenting my workouts when I go, and I'll film them, or at the very least figure something out there, so I can have a little bit more of a, more involved thing. So at the end of the 30 days, maybe I'll have a video that I can put out that is a kind of summation of the journey. as it were. Um, where to find the Jedi trials? I'm just gonna take questions if I see them, and then I'll scroll through at the end to see if I missed anything. But this is pertinent. The Jedi trials, scroll through my Instagram account, the Jedi Playbook account, and I list all of them. Um, they are technically legends. They are no longer canon. They are from a book called The Jedi Path, which I think they may have discontinued, but it's available in digital. It's a book published, I believe, in 2017, uh, after Lucasfilm's acquisition by Disney. Um, but it really kind of tied some loose ends together and gives a very good picture of, um, like I said in a previous episode, that's what allowed me to contextualize spirituality within Star Wars. And like from that point on, it just kind of clicked, and I was like, oh man, it all makes sense. Um, so very much of this account is me attempting to convey those revelations as I have them. Um, I don't really plan content ahead too many days in advance, like maybe one day ahead. But other than that, it's pretty much what I'm dealing with and what's on my mind, and just generally how the challenge is going, that I'm keeping this log for every day. And then the content throughout the day is either fun quotes I like, pertinent quotes that are relevant to points I'm trying to make. I love doing video clips. I love cutting together like a supercut of all my favorite Darth Vader lines, like I posted earlier today. Like, how can you not love all those Darth Vader lines? Like, James Earl Jones, what a talented voice actor in general, but like his voice is just godlike. I love it. Um, yeah, halfway point for me is now like kind of reflecting on the journey and looking ahead to the next half of it and to see what I want to accomplish and how I'm doing. Um, the meditation I feel like I've got down, the discipline I feel like I've got down, and now I need to challenge myself more physically is the point I'm trying to make, and so that's what I'm documenting now. I've made that point several times, so let's move on. Um, a lesson in ego that I've recently experienced, something that has been rather humbling, and something that is a lesson for me to learn about letting go and attachment to things and desire and stuff like that. I'm still losing followers, or if I'm not losing followers, just the needle doesn't move. And that got to me, I have to admit. That got to me. It bothered me. I was like, I was doing so well, almost 7,000, and then just nothing. So, but like the lesson there for me was, why am I so concerned about gaining additional followers when I have amazing people like you all who join me on Saturdays and Tuesdays and comment and DM me, and that is what I want to focus on. So that was a realization that has recently helped me. It's like, I should not care about the number of followers. That is ego talking. So I should just accept, let go, use the force, and let's make this a nice little community here. For anybody who's taken the challenge, how are you doing? You can always feel free to DM me for guidance. I'll do my best. And now I have some tips for choosing a role and some advice for finding balance. Um, choosing a role, like in terms of like the discipline you want to follow. If you're a sentinel, if you're a consular, if you are a guardian, if you're a potentium or a gray Jedi. The Sith, there were some people who chose Sith and commented Sith on that post earlier today. And that's fine. Your choices are your own. But to me, there's really no benefit to the dark side. Like, there's personal gain, but in the end, it always comes back and is harmful. I can say from personal experience that when I indulge in temptations and act less selfless, less compassionate than I should, that I know I should, that I know I'm capable of acting, it has a net negative effect on many aspects of my life. And so finding balance in that area is a challenge for me. That is something I am still struggling with. No matter where you are in the journey, balance is really important, and finding balance is really important. Whether you have never taken the challenge and you consider yourself an initiate, whether you consider yourself a Padawan and you're, figuring out what your trials are going to be, because we all have to face the trials. There are initiate trials, by the way, right? I did post about that once. They're lesser. They're basically just to prove that, like, you know what the Force is, you can use the Force. And then, all right, fine. Once you pass the initiate trials, you can be a Padawan. Basically, proving that you've graduated from youngling and are old enough to comprehend what is before you, generally when you reach adolescence. But some people are late bloomers. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a Padawan until the age of 25. Do not forget that. I have to remind myself of that constantly. When I feel like I'm getting impatient and like there's no progress and stuff like that, yeah, just be at peace. Meditate. Love the process. Love the journey. That's what I keep telling myself anyway. Fit the challenge to your needs. That was the other thing, right? So I work in a wine shop. I'm not going to be sword fighting anytime soon, but I still choose to train my fencing footwork and blade work and kendo and stuff like that, because sword combat and lightsaber combat is important to me. The meditation is still just as important. The discipline is still just as important. But like, if there's a skill that you can devote time to cultivating every day that requires a whole lot of focus, that can be, your training. That can be the physical aspect of your training, whatever it is, right? We said learning. Even if you're, a server in a restaurant, there are things you can do to further your knowledge of food, of wine, of spirits, of customer service in general, and just interacting with people. What else? Even if you're an artist, creative endeavors are very difficult to, like, that's something I struggle with. For the longest time, I didn't even consider myself creative, despite the fact that I'm a pianist and a musician and I create content not for a living, but I did for a while. I was doing essentially freelance videography, which is where I learned the skills to like edit and color grade and do Photoshop, and After Effects is more of, to do lightsabers. But those are useful skills that I was initially just kind of, messing around with. So yeah, if there is one thing to take away, it's fit the challenge to your needs. And whatever your goals are, tailor the challenge to your goals. Let me see. One more thing, and then we'll go to questions. And I'll scroll through in case I missed anything. I resisted it as much as I could, but people have been asking now. And so I've been trying to work on this. There is merch now. There is an actual shop that I created through a company called Spring. It's easy. They make it very easy. It's seamless. There's many different merch options. You just upload one design, and then you can get it on a mug or a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a pillow. So I did. People were requesting posters and tapestries, so I did that. And then I did a series of t-shirts because I wanted one that said consular. And it's just very tasteful. All right. I think I may have spoken about this. It still hasn't arrived. It takes like 4 weeks because when you order it, then they make it and then they ship it. So if anyone would like to check it out, the link is in the bio. It's the second, the link tree is in my bio. So that'll take you to my link tree. The first link is going to be the latest Instagram video, which will be uploaded here. And then the second is the shop. And just have a look. If I'm not doing this for the money. People want the merch, and I want to give people something to have. And I wanted a t-shirt to walk around, and like, it's a conversation piece, It's like, hey, what's that? What does that say? It's like, oh, this is you have to be in the know. It's Arabesh, right? So it's like, if you're a Star Wars fan and you can read Arabesh, it's like when two When two Time Lords look at each other, to borrow from Doctor Who, because there is a TARDIS in the corner of my thing. But we don't talk about that right now. It's Star Wars right now. So, that's all the announcements. That's all the news. That was all I really wanted to talk about. It's halfway point. It's going great. Let's take some questions and comments. Yes. Okay. Okay. Just popped in. Mentioning balance. Would you consider posts and info about the Grey Jedi and their history? So here is the thing. Grey Jedi exists. The lore for that is all legends. The lore for that is all like expanded universe. There's nothing really in the canonical films, because let me be specific, that goes into that, with the exception of essentially what Ahsoka does. She becomes as close to a Grey Jedi without calling her a Grey Jedi, right? She even says, "I am no Jedi." Fine. Great. Love Ahsoka. But honestly, closer to the philosophy of the Potentium is Luke's New Jedi Order from the expanded universe. So Luke, I think, embodies the philosophy of what we're getting at right here better than most from what I've seen. In that, again, like, he understands, like, he is an agent of the light side. There is no arguing that. I don't think anyone will argue that he's all light side. Like, he's benevolent, he's compassionate, he helps people, he does the right thing, he does good, he saves people, he protects people, he draws the good out of the most evil person in the galaxy and turns his father good from being Darth Vader, right? That counts for something. That must count for something. So his understanding of the Force, it's like the Force is just the Force, and then the dark side is the corruption of that. And I like that philosophy, because the Force, if you believe the Force has a will, and compassion is the essence of the living Force, then it's very, very easy. Just your actions kind of flow from within. If you are able to center yourself and balance yourself, the meditation is what helps me with that. All right, slight little side note, because it's pertinent. It's a slight little anecdote, but not 20 minutes ago, I was less than calm and centered and passive, and I realized I was acting, irrationally. I realized I hadn't eaten in several hours. Low blood sugar can do that. Hangry. I do get hangry, I have to admit. I get hangry, so that's a big problem. The meditation helps. Just eating something to kind of calm down, take a few breaths. But when I am balanced and at peace and passive, as Yoda says, that's how you know the good from the bad, the light side from the dark. So if you are curious about exploring more Grey Jedi stuff, I will do what I can, but it's really more internal work, right? The resources for being a Grey Jedi, let's just say, right now, are already out there. Like, look at Luke. Like, you don't need a clearer example of him other than him force choking the Gamorrean guards. First scene you see him in Return of the Jedi. If that isn't Grey and like Potentium, and like he's getting in, he's saving his friends, nobody's gonna stop him. He Jedi mind tricks who he needs to. He force chokes whoever gets in his way, right? But here's the thing. Notice the difference. He Jedi mind tricks, "You will take me to Jabba now, Bib Fortuna," right? He doesn't use force. He doesn't use, like, aggressive force. He uses the force. He uses the Jedi mind trick. The Gamorrean guards, the first thing they do when he approaches is they have their weapons out. He knows what he's dealing with, and so he responds with a commensurate level of force. I think that's pretty cool. Gator Pickle, I hope that answers your question slightly. I will try to focus a little bit more and see what I can find on Grey Jedi stuff in Legends, but that is by no means my area of expertise. The films are what I know. Like, that's my bread and butter. Clone Wars and Rebels as this kind of supplement to that, Mandalorian as a kind of supplement to that, and then the Jedi Path book is probably going to be the closest thing to like a concrete kind of like manual or guide. I will consider, however, because I just thought of this, the Bendu, voiced oddly enough, and we were just talking about Doctor Who. That's so weird. Voiced by Tom Baker, who portrayed the fourth Doctor. Fourth Doctor? Yeah, the fourth Doctor on Doctor Who. He voices in Star Wars Rebels the one in the middle. If you haven't seen Rebels, purely for that character, I recommend that, just because of he is an ancient force being that kind of represents the balance of the light and dark. That was a bit of a tangent there, but yeah. I wish there was Star Wars music that I can use for meditation and calmness. I do. I use that. I can like suggest some tracks. I can't like do anything with it because like Spotify, most of the tracks I like aren't on there, and that annoys me. Oh, is the Force real? That's a good question. Depends on what you believe. I like to believe the Taoist, Taoism is that we are all one and there is everything. It's like the universe as a whole. If you understand what the Force is, right? What is the Force? It's defined as the energy field that is part of everything. It surrounds us. It binds us. It's in everything, right? It is everything. If you condense every single major religion, to my knowledge, down to like its core element, whatever it is, that's the same thing, right? So, in a sense, yes, the Force is real. And if you have ever experienced this, you can have a big breakthrough during meditation. Psychedelics will do this. Altered states of consciousness, let's just call them. Like, for example, sleep deprivation, extreme sleep deprivation can bring it on. Traumatic experiences can bring it on. But there are, when you are in a altered state of consciousness, you can have these experiences that may very well reinforce or not the concept and the existence of the Force, if that makes sense. Jedi outfits. Well, I wear a t-shirt and athletic pants most of the time when I'm working out. That's why I made the consular thing just a t-shirt, because I want to work out in that. It's a hoodie, because the hood is very important. I must have a hood. Not having hair, I need insulation, all right? The hair is a lot of insulation, and it gets very cold, even in the summer. Like, there are vents that blow on me and stuff like that. I like having a hood, so the hoodie's important. T-shirt, and then athletic pants, and that's my Jedi uniform. That's what I train in, honestly. The robes are a little much, as much as I would love to have, like, really nice. Like, I want, like, wool, like, cashmere blend Jedi robes. One day. Presenting the Kylo Ren and Stimpy show. Do you like Jar Jar Binks, and do you think he was a Sith in the original a plan of George Lucas? Do I like Jar Jar Binks? That's an interesting question. I'm going to have to go with he is not my favorite character, and I will leave it at that, because I think that's about as diplomatic as I can be. As for whether, the Darth Jar Jar theory, I love it. It's very entertaining and it's fun to think about. I don't think that was George Lucas's plan. I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. Is the dark and light side the same as yin and yang? Yes, that's exactly what it is. The yin and yang symbol is the light, the dark, the little dot of dark that's in the light, and the little dot of light that's in the dark, right? And you need both of them. They are one, they form one can't just only have one. And that's why the Jedi fell, being too close-minded and dogmatic about the dark side. Okay, where was I? Gray Jedi, the energy between the yin and yang, yes. Would you say that the Force in some way resembles Taoism? That's exactly what it is. It's Taoist or Taoist. It's either a T or a D, depending on who you ask. I don't know what the difference is. But yeah, that is Taoist philosophy. The belief that everything is connected, everything is one thing. We are all one, and yeah, that's consistent with people's theories about the quantum field too. Like if you get into quantum physics, that we already know from Einstein, E equals mc squared. That means that matter is still energy, right? So if everything is energy and the Force is an energy field, yes, the Force is real. But like, it's depending on what layer of analysis you're talking about, how real it is. Can I lift an object with my mind right now? No, I cannot do that. I do not possess the power of telekinesis. But I can certainly alter my environment, right? Physically, moving things, picking things up, affecting change in your environment. And so, for me, a big part of using the Force is drawing out what I believe my gifts to be and trying to draw that out in other people, encouraging other people to pursue their dreams and pursue what makes them happy. Last little tangent, last little story, because this is really important, because it just came to me. I have a very good friend who I recently had a conversation with and was very disappointed with their outlook on life, because it just went contrary to what I thought they believed. I thought we shared the same values in the sense that they were aiming at the highest good they could do. And instead of pursuing that and pursuing something that, like, I can tell very easily, like, the thing they should be pursuing brings them immense joy and happiness and peace, and it's like they're enthusiastic about it. And this individual is putting off the pursuit of that in favor of money, basically. So, yeah, don't chase the money. Use the Force. Go with the flow. Let go of control and just feel it flow. Feel the energy flow. Do you think Starkiller is meant to show what Anakin could have become if he didn't burn alive? Starkiller is, if I'm not mistaken, Force Unleashed, right? Voiced by the guy who voices Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels, Sam Witwer, something like that. I do not know. I have not played those games in a very long time. Force Unleashed. It was fun, but I'm not quite there yet. I'd always advise incorporating fasting into your workout if your health allows it. It helps reduce and get rid of cravings. I appreciate that. I have I've been unintentionally fasting lately, because for some reason the evening will come and I will have no appetite left whatsoever. I'll have like protein shakes, my supplements in the morning. I have this gluten-free kind of waffle recipe that I make for like my major carbs. Very nutrient dense. I love it. It's made with teff and buckwheat. But yeah, fasting. I'll actually consider that, because fasting is beneficial. In the canonic series, the Grey Jedi is Bendu. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bendu. Yes. Yes. Bendu is essentially a Grey Jedi. I guess so, yeah. You're correct. You are correct. Still the mind, settle the mud. Very good. Yes. I admit I never viewed life as a Grey Jedi. I saw that they always thought Qui-Gon as a Grey Jedi because... Oh, he'd voice opposition to the Council. Yes. Yeah. Qui-Gon is probably as gray as it gets in terms of like one of the traditional someone within the Jedi Order who is still within the Jedi Order, right? But the Council's pissed at him, kind of. He follows the will of the Force, and I like that. He follows compassion above all else, right? In the notes, like the great thing about the Jedi Path book is in the margins are like notes, handwritten notes from like the characters, like written as the characters in the persona. So like Luke made annotations in this book. And Qui-Gon made annotations in this book. And Qui-Gon says like, I can't resist the urge to help others even if it goes against my destiny and stuff like that. The essence of our Jedi calling is the living force, is compassion. The living force engenders compassion and eventually love. Like that's all 100% in line with what I believe and what I believe we should strive for. I don't think there's enough compassion in the world, particularly towards ourselves. Honestly, I could be a lot more compassionate and nicer to myself. So, yeah. Apparently, George Lucas got knowledge and philosophy from... Oh, Jesuits. Oh, really? I went to a Jesuit university. So I like the Jesuit education. Yeah. George Lucas had, from what I understand, a near-death experience in his youth, or in his 20s. And it was after that he came up with the story for Star Wars. So that's very interesting. And a lot of the themes that you see with the Force and the Jedi, you hear people talking about people who have had near-death experiences. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. We're going on 34 minutes now. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I want to harness the Force like a Jedi and use it for destruction like Starkiller. That is a Sith desire, my friend. Please don't do that. Please don't destroy things. Compassion, right? We need to be compassionate. Why do you want to destroy? Yeah, self-defense, fine. Self-defense is always appropriate. That's why Jedi train to fight, because a Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack. Can you tell me where I can find meditation music for Star Wars? YouTube Jedi meditation, and there's a few. There's one you can look for. The thumbnail looks like a painting or a drawing of Obi-Wan sitting cross-legged in front of a fire, and that has pretty good. I've used that before. I can't find it right now, but I will look for it. I wear bandanas over my bald head for working out. I save the uniform of a Jedi for meditation. Then I wear my favorite hoodie and a robe to get that Jedi robe effect. That's great. That's a good idea. I just have a hooded robe. It's fleece, though, so it doesn't feel the same. But it is warm. Gator Pickle. I like your style. In the Lego game, Jar Jar can jump higher than Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, he has Gungan legs. Could you say the Jedi abandoned their own code, being so dogmatic that the Council became apathetic, which is the exact opposite, an enemy of compassion? The Jedi became their own enemy. The closed-mindedness and is it dogmatism, I guess would be the word? Is that correct? I don't know. The Jedi's... Is their closed-mindedness going against the Jedi Code? I have to think about that. I have to unpack that for a second. There is no emotion, there is peace. No, yes it does. It goes against the code because the second precept is there is no ignorance, there is knowledge. And it's not that they were ignorant, it was their refusal to acknowledge or explore the dark side that led to their downfall. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. I literally just formulated that. Might not be 100%. So would you say practices like Tai Chi and Qigong are a Jedi practice, since they are Taoist practices and the yin yang symbol? They can use Qi energy, and that would be a Jedi practice. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is Taoism. Yes. Bruce Lee's being like water, kind of similar as well. Maybe yes. And in fact, having trained a substantial amount of Wing Chun, which is what Bruce Lee started with, but before he left Hong Kong, Bruce Lee trained Wing Chun Kung Fu. He did not finish the whole system, which is why when he came to the United States, I believe, I don't know why he came to the United States. I heard he was like fleeing some kind of nefarious, malicious things. Anyway, not that he was being malicious, that malicious people were after him and he was fleeing bad situations. I don't know. But yeah, be like water. Bruce Lee's thing, the reason he created Jeet Kune Do is because he never finished Wing Chun, but a lot of Wing Chun principles, and in fact, many of the great principles he used come from the force principles that you train with Wing Chun. Wing Chun is all about feeling your opponent's force and giving way to force and feeling your opponent's energy of an attack. So I'm a huge proponent of any lineage of Wing Chun. Honestly, don't get caught up in like purity of lineage and stuff like that, because people get really, really intense about their martial arts lineages. Take what works for you, learn what you can. At the end of the day, as long as you are learning something and as long as it works for you, just do that. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, do what works. Love of money is the root of all the evil, correct. The need for control controls the trolls. Yeah. Intentional fasting helps teach us a minor lesson in loss and personal discipline. Yes, in delayed gratification, in self-discipline, in refusing and, controlling temptation. Important. I liked Elsar Kun. I like his style and his look. He would have been a great Jedi Master, but too bad he fell into the dark side. I am not aware of who that is. You're persuading me to join the Jedi talking about Qui-Gon. I certainly hope so. My philosophy, since I lean to, look, I've talked about this before. I lean more towards the dark side. Just my parentheses. I'm a selfish person. I'm sorry, right? That's why I took the Jedi challenge, to try to be more compassionate and selfless. But growing up, particularly during high school and college, my blade was red. Honey, I had a red lightsaber, okay? And then more recently I discovered sometimes maybe I wanted a pink lightsaber or a rainbow lightsaber. No, I'm just kidding. There is no such thing. George Lucas got the Force stuff from Shintoism. Not necessarily, because it's more Taoism than Shintoism. But elements of both, certainly. Self-defense, yes, and to destroy the reptilian draconian deep underground base. Okay, don't know what that is. All right. Working with chakras, yes, good. Greed is the root of all evil, absolutely. And that is also why greed is so seductive. Oh, and the young Obi-Wan picture, yes. Space Jesus. Love it. It's been 40 minutes now. This is the longest live I've ever done in my entire life. Holy crap. I would love to find a rainbow crystal. If I could be a rainbow crystal. Yes. Fabulous. Okay, so that is all. I'm exhausted and I need to eat and make dinner and do a bunch of things, but this has been an absolute pleasure. Please feel free to DM me and comment and everything that you have been doing. I seriously cannot express my gratitude for all the support. These have been amazing. I love doing these, and I will continue to do them. On Tuesday, since last Tuesday I didn't, I have to remember, I have to write it down. But I will this coming Tuesday, I will use the cards. I will use the meditation cards that I have not been using frequently for myself, but they are very helpful for me, so on Tuesday, I will do that, I promise. Tuesday, I'm going to make myself a note. Tuesday, cards. So I don't forget, okay? May the Force be with you. If you are curious at all, comment, send a question, do the Jedi challenge, join the Jedi cause, be compassionate, join the light side, be compassionate, okay? Yeah. May the Force be with you.